Okay, welcome. Forecast episode 4. 4. Who's number 44? Was that one of Jordan's numbers?
No, 45.
45. 44 was Barack.
That's right.
Right? This is my lucky episode, baby. Peace to Barack. If you ever want to come on the show or swap, I can maybe go on Michelle's podcast. You guys can come on here. I can intro you to my assistant, Sinjin. Maybe we can set something up. It's just a reminder, it wouldn't kill you guys to share this stuff. Get on Instagram, share it, say you need to watch this. That makes me happy. We did an IGTV on, what's today?
Wednesday.
On Wednesday about the Instagram Reels launch. By now, most of you should have it. Most of you should have played with it. If you have not seen the IGTV story on 4's account, go check it out. But this is a big opportunity for you guys to gain a following, to gain some exposure to your page. And when Instagram launches something new, it's super important to get on it early. So if you haven't checked out that IGTV, do that. Also, this is a totally new platform. We're watching it really closely, how it's used, best practices, how brands are using it. I'll continue to fill you guys in. But if you have any questions on Reels, TikTok, anything, continue to send those in to Marnie at 4.co, or just comment anywhere that you're currently watching this, and we will take care of it and answer it. And let's start doing that. Question number 1 is, what's the best way to deal with companies that ghost you on gifting campaigns? So the story here of somebody who had a few companies reach out, ask them to be on a campaign, and then never sent product, never followed up. Let's talk about email etiquette and following up. In the question, they say that they only followed up once, and then after that assumed they got either removed from the campaign or the brand ran out of money due to COVID, but for some reason it didn't go forward. You can continue emailing someone until they confirm yes or no, especially somebody that has reached out and said, hey, we want you to be on this campaign. I absolutely would follow up until you get an answer. Persistence is not seen as an annoyance as long as you're kind of playing by the rules. Not answering is actually not as much of a negative signal as I think people bring it out to be, right? They send an email and they think this email is going to get answered, and if it doesn't, they feel like the person ignored me. If you're someone that gets in a lot of emails, which is an influencer, you know that sometimes you might get an email while you're walking into a meeting. That meeting lasts 2 hours and you come out of it and you have 10 more emails, and now you forgot that you checked that other one and it just gets lost. You want to continue to follow up. I always find if someone's trying to get in touch with me, I appreciate the follow-ups because eventually you'll catch me at a time when I feel like I can answer. And it just makes it so that I don't have to remember to go back and answer an email that was sent. So absolutely be persistent, continue to follow up until you get an answer. When somebody says no or I'm not interested, that's when you should back off. Who knows, maybe you didn't get dropped off the campaign. Maybe they sent the product and it didn't get shipped to the right place, but the person's not super professional and not great at email, and they just didn't get back to you, and a couple of more emails would have gotten their attention. Don't be afraid to email a lot. Don't take a non-response personally. If you do that, it is going to stop you from achieving what you want. I guarantee it, because if that feels like failure to you, it's going to be hard to continue to put yourself out there. I think the biggest missed opportunity with email is that, anyone is an email away. Most people read the emails they get. And I think that, it's always worth shooting your shot and sending an email to somebody that you don't think will answer, because you never know, they might. It's also okay, again, to be persistent. A lot of people have had their lives changed with an email, and the opportunity that you want might be, just an email away. Here at 4, we're looking to bring independent board members on, and I cold emailed entrepreneurs that I really respected and who I would love to be on our board. Most of them didn't get back to me, but one that I was really excited about did. It's turned out to be a great relationship, and it's been really beneficial to myself personally and to the company, and that was sending an email. Question number 2, what advice would you give people who are trying to balance being an influencer with a full-time job? It is very important in your life to have goals and to understand what you want out of life. If you don't know what you want out of life, your chances of getting it are dramatically reduced. I believe that if you state that you have a goal and you start to build your life around achieving that goal, that the chances either you achieve it are quite a bit higher. And so if you have a full-time job and your goal is to be an influencer, when you think about how to balance your life, there's no amount of effort that you shouldn't put in to trying to achieve that goal, right? And get to a place where you can quit your job and be a full-time influencer. If your goal is that, if you're just like, oh, I have a following, this is fun, it's supplemental income, I enjoy the community, but what I really am passionate about is my job, then you need to balance that as well. You need to adjust your expectations. I think that adjust the expectation of how big that account can get. Influencers who have hundreds of thousands of followers don't quit their job just because they're getting a lot of money. It becomes a full-time job to be able to continue to create that kind of quality of content, interact with people, do the brand deals, do the sponsored posts, and make all of that happen. Is a full-time job. And so again, it's just about what you want out of life. This is my life. 4 is my life. I don't really care about having a following. I used to. It's not really much of a following, but my Instagram stuff for me is just fun. My priorities changed in life, and so what I focused on changed. It's a place to interact with influencers and some of our clients. It's a place to talk about the work that 4 is doing. I would say I spend 30 minutes to an hour a week thinking about my personal Instagram, whereas when I was focused on my Tumblr and I had one of the biggest followings in the world, it was like a full-time job. I was spending 30 to 40 hours a week, if not working on it, thinking about it, and all weekend shooting and doing projects. So it's just about goals, and then it's not balancing. Then it's not so much thinking about what am I giving up, because you're doing the things you need to do to achieve your ultimate goals. But I will say again, if your ultimate goal is quit my job to be a full-time influencer, you have to think about the sacrifices that you're willing to make to achieve that. There are people who can just don't have to cross any line to say I'm a full-time influencer. They can just say this is what I'm doing because they don't need to make money. But if that's not you, then you're gonna have to say, okay, if I make $50,000 in my day job, how can I make $50,000 well? So if I charge $500 a post, that's 100 posts. That is 8 sponsored posts a month. That's 2 a week, and that's it. You gotta get 2 a week. How are you gonna do that? Let's say you need probably for the first year, about 75 different clients, 50 to 75 clients. How many brands do you need to reach out to or work with to be able to get 50 or 75 clients to be able to make the 50 grand to quit your job? Like it's math, you just gotta figure out how to get there. Okay, last question. What the hell is going on with TikTok? That is a good question. So, if you're not following the news, Trump is in a fight with China. He's using TikTok as a proxy for that fight. He has said that if an American company does not buy TikTok by September 15th, he is going to shut it down. Microsoft is interested in buying it. Microsoft would have a year to transfer all of that code, to transfer all of the data to the US and delete any data that was stored outside of the US. The argument for shutting down TikTok is a data argument. They can get that data regardless. They don't really need TikTok. But that's not the point. I don't believe that TikTok is going to be shut down. I do think that for the parent company, ByteDance, it's certainly a horror show. End of the day, everyone's going to get so rich that they will never be able to spend this money in their whole lives. So somebody holding a gun to your head and saying, give me your purse and I'll give you $30 billion sucks, because you probably really like that bag, but it's also a huge amount of money and they will continue to operate the app elsewhere. I think this is it's a scary time for the internet in general as it becomes a bigger part of the world and a bigger part of our national and global infrastructure. The internet's always been open. From the early days, it was open source. A lot of kind of engineers and nerds just trying to build something new and do something really cool. It wasn't even in the beginning about making money. This desire for governments to control the internet is scary. My fear is that we will see more of that. There was talk about, telecom companies being able to slow down certain sites. So Netflix could pay Verizon a certain amount of money to make sure that Amazon Prime streamed at a lower speed than Netflix did. All of this would create unfair competition. It would make it even harder for small companies like 4 to compete. Because larger companies are already in government's pockets. It's a whole nightmare. For big TikTok stars, they'll be fine because they have big Instagram followings, big YouTube followings. Look at the Vine stars. A lot of them went on to be very successful. An app on its own is not kind of the end all be all. That content will find a place to be successful. Again, if it shut down tomorrow and a lot of it moved to Reels or Byte or whatever the Vine guy made a copy of Vine that nobody uses, but like maybe people would start using that again. I wouldn't worry as much about like what is going to happen to TikTok as I would about what does this mean for the internet long term. TikTok is going to continue to exist. Whether it will exist as a global app is yet to be seen. It does seem that if they sell it, it's going to be, Microsoft would be taking over operations in US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. So a lot of the English-speaking countries, your followings wouldn't be massively impacted, but we'll see. This is it's a new world out there, and it's just another reason that no matter what, no matter who you are, you should always be diversifying your platforms. If you're huge on Instagram, you should be on TikTok. If you're huge on TikTok, you should be on YouTube. You should constantly be diversifying your platforms because you never know when this is going to happen. And less extreme than this, you never know when the app's just going to stop being popular and the audience is going to go away. So always be trying to get your audience to move to new platforms or find a new audience on different platforms. TikTok has a huge amount of users, I think a lot more viewers than publishers. I look at TikTok every day. I don't publish TikToks. A lot of the people I know who spend a lot of time on TikTok don't publish TikToks. It's the same as Vine was. It's a smaller group of creators and a larger group of consumers because it's entertainment. I watch television, I don't make TV shows. Definitely get on there, it's not too late. Also get on Reels, also get on Byte. Who knows, maybe that will work. Also get on YouTube, also make sure you're on Twitter. Start your newsletter, start a blog, bring your blog back, start a Substack, start a fucking Patreon. I don't know, start it all. Do an OnlyFans. Let's all just start OnlyFans. I don't know, you should try all of these different platforms and, find the ones that work for you. That is all. Episode 4 is over. Continue to send those questions in. Please share this. It helps us grow. It helps me feel good about myself. I'll see you guys next week.